where shadows creep. Stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan voice a haunting thrill. With every tale he bends our will. Echoes whisper, the night draws near. By the firelight, our fears collide. The Carolina storyteller, our guide. Through the spooky, the feathering fight. Fables of darkness igniting the night of the night.
Hey, folks, welcome to the show. In case you missed the last 5 minutes, so did we because we thought we were live and we weren't. So we're starting all over again. I am the Carolina storyteller, Jonathan Phoenix, and this is Legend Has It, the live show where we just kind of get a little crazy and have a little bit of fun. Um, Before we get into the show, allow me to introduce to you my guests for today, making his return, the voice of Azrael from Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles, the one and only Toby. Toby, welcome back to the show. How you doing today?
Well, take two seems to be going well so far. There's a live screen in the corner.
Yeah, now we're back live, so now we get to redo all this. So just act like we didn't do it before.
I've never been here before.
Nope, this never happened before.
Nope.
Um, Toby, of course, is the voice of Azrael, the Angel of Death in Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles. He'll be making his debut later on in the season, so that'll be fun to have going on. But he's also now officially a two-timer here on Legend Has It. So he knows how the show goes. He knows the scene. He's ready to go, and he's ready to welcome my next guest. This woman does a lot of work behind the scenes for me. She is the assistant director of Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles. But more importantly, she has her own things going on. She has the Empire on Discord where she kind of tries to create a community that helps out trans and LGBT people who are troubled and who need a place to go. Um, she has a very popular TikTok channel where, um, well, she does things that make people do things. Um, Anyway,
Yeah.
she is, yeah, behave. She is the vampire queen, Jacqueline Burns. Jackie, welcome to Legend Has It. It's a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. Yourself, Jonathan?
Well, I'm doing better now that I've got the show up and running and we're up and going. Uh, Eli is happy to see your puppy, Toby, by the way. He wants you to know.
Yeah, this is
Eli is,
Lucifer.
yes, Eli is in the audience today. He's not on the show because if we keep having him on the show, he's going to start thinking he's a co host and want billing rights, and I'm not allowing that. I already have enough problems with him as Chuckles. So Eli is in the comments today. Thank you for being here, Eli. Thank you for being here, Billy. We're pleasure to have you guys. Um, Jackie, you are kind of instrumental in Valmont, just so everybody knows. You have been the assistant director. You helped supply me with this great cast of characters, including Eli. Hello, Katie. You got us. We've got Adele that we have to thank for you. Eli, of course, brought Pitt. Nick, who is doing a lot of sound direction. Toby, right there. Yes, Toby, you brought me Toby.
Yeah.
You've done a lot to kind of shore up my work. And so you're kind of like, that's why you're my assistant director. I just put you in charge. But you have
It,
yet to make an appearance on Legend Has It. So this is kind of a big deal.
it certainly feels like a big deal. Which, speaking of getting Nick onto the show, I apologize, Christina. Christina being my other boss, Sia Melangi, who I do voice work for Cafe Latte. Um, I wind up doing a lot of voice direction and voice work everywhere if I can help it.
Yeah, she found me through the CMLNG Patreon Discord server.
Well,
I actually found a few people through there.
yeah, I mean,
Not me just going through and poaching from other people's work.
That's basically, yeah.
oh yeah, just going and poaching everyone. I didn't tell you to go out and do that, not at all. Actually, I didn't, but I'm glad that you did.
Oh, no, I mean, that's the thing. If you're going to find talent, find talent. And when you look as good as me, everyone comes.
behave. By the way, you will hear me say that a lot because that is what I have to tell her during every single table read that we do is behave.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
Daddy, I'm
Jackie,
being a good girl.
with Jackie, um, without our help, it would be
It'd just be an hour of audio porn.
actually
Excuse.
that's not what I was going to say.
Actually, no. I tend to get bored of the sex stuff really quickly, despite what it comes off as. And while I do read a lot of smutty literature, because let's be honest here, find something you love, and I do love, you know, I do love smut. I definitely enjoy reading and doing a lot of artistic work. It's why it is I need to figure out getting a tattooing machine so I can learn to tattoo.
Well, I'll talk to you about that because I might have an in on you on that. But less than 5 minutes and Jackie's being told to behave. For the record, it's usually less than 2 minutes and Jackie's being told to behave. So
Actually, no, it
you're
was not
improving.
less than it was not less than 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Boom, 5:30. There we go. You're improving, Jackie. I'm proud of you. I'm very
Well, I'm
proud of
always
you.
improving.
Um, but Jackie has done a serious amount of work on the background. She's also voicing um, a major character that's going to be coming up later on in the season. You will be voicing um, a super powerful entity in the show. You're playing Lilith herself, the queen of hell, mother of evil, mother of monsters. All of these things tied to that name, and you're going to be playing that particular character. How does that feel?
I mean, it just feels accurate, I guess. Powerful, capable of influencing others, capable of guiding others, but also incredibly. I think about all the emotions she has tied up in her loving motherhood, sisterhood through various characters, as well as just absolute rage. It's so much being taken from her time and time and time again. And it's that
This is
perfect
true.
mix.
She has kind of suffered a lot.
No thanks to the writer.
Hey, the writer kind of took it easy on her. I think. I feel. Just saying. I don't think you should blame the writer that much. All right, before we get too far into the show, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and we've got two elephants in the room this week. Two of them. Count them two. The first one I want to talk about is 2 days ago, President Biden just announced that the eagle is now the official bird of the United States of America. And I, for one, feel like I've been lied to my entire life. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that the eagle was the official bird of the United States for the entire life, for my entire life. And now it apparently is now. Am I the only one, or am I crazy? Is that what this is?
Well, I was, I agree with you. That's what I thought. But thinking on it more, it actually makes sense that we didn't have an official bird because, okay, well, the bald eagle is the official animal of the United States. Do we really need to say that's our official bird? It kind of seems obvious. It seems like, the obvious thing wound up not being done. Though that does close down the opportunity for a little bit of 250-year-old irony by putting the turkey as the official bird of the United States, while you have the bald eagle as the official animal, and just both making Benjamin Franklin happy and roll in his grave fast enough for you to be able to produce electricity.
May I argue that I am far more terrified of a turkey than I am of a bald eagle?
I've had a turkey peck at my eye. Like, literally, it went under the eyelid. I will take the turkey over the bald eagle. Or no,
I'm
sorry,
just
not
saying.
flip that, reverse it. Flip that, reverse it. I will take the eagle over the.
I'm just saying. I would eat turkey. I've never thought about eating bald eagle. It's just not something. So, to me, turkey is a much better bird just because I can eat the turkey.
I mean,
Turkey is
fair.
tasty. turkey is delicious. Um, Turkey deserves to be eaten, and turkey deserves respect for being something so delicious and edible. But yeah, I mean, bald eagle now officially the official bird of the United States of America. Something I didn't see coming and didn't know wasn't a thing until, you know, 24 hours ago, and I'm like, wait, what? The second thing I want to talk about is, have you guys seen this in the news? All of these people getting free flights somewhere. Like we had
I
a
thought
lady
they
that got
were.
on a plane in JFK and flew to Paris. And then we
Huh.
had someone they got on a flight and flew to California. They didn't get off the flight. They tucked themselves in the wheel well and apparently didn't make it because flying in the wheel well is not advised. It's very cold. So they
Well,
didn't
you'll be
make it
lucky if
and
you get proper air pressure. It's just
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
It is stupid.
And then lastly, just the other day, they arrested a woman after she had gotten on the plane and the plane was taxiing. And then they figured out she didn't have a ticket and she had somehow gotten past security onto the plane and in a seat. And then they're like, wait, you're not supposed to be in the seat. Where the hell did you come from? Like they were getting ready to take off. She would have made it to Hawaii. So it's these passengers are just jumping on these planes, you know, in a post modern uh, era where we've had the Patriot Act in place for what seems like decades now. How is this happening? I mean, am I the only one that thinks this is crazy that people are just jumping on planes?
Well, here's the thing. I would have thought it was crazy, save for the fact that, as it turns out, the TSA is effectively just there to soak up money and create the illusion of security that isn't actually being provided. We don't really have to worry about anyone of any real danger getting that far because we have intelligence services in our country and around the world that will know about this kind of thing happening before it happens and prevent it. All we have the TSA around for is to basically waste taxpayer dollars, roughly waste taxpayer dollars. I think it winds up being more the airport itself and the money we spend on flights that wind up paying them, but that's beside the point. Wasting money on yeah. Yeah, TSA is effectively just an ADT sign in the yard. Thank you, Eli. But yeah, no, they're not performing any sort of function outside of taking your water bottle, taking your stuff out of your bags, and tossing it to the side because it's all about preventing, the threats that have already happened. Oh, well, somebody brought a water bottle and used it to do this, or somebody brought a knife and used it to do this. That's great. That's what they did in the past. What are they going to do in the future? That's what we have to be thinking about if we're actually going to take security seriously. And even then, most of the time when it comes to security, you're just talking rent-a-cops and ACAB.
Plus, they did a study, and they found that like 80% of like knives and guns and stuff make it through TSA anyway.
And so, see, this is the thing that's interesting to me is that we've basically proven that the one thing that we were scared of not being secure is not secure. It's not. And you said it best. You said the illusion of security. Um, for a lot of security companies, that's what they hope to provide. They don't hope to provide actual security. They want to provide the illusion. They want you to think that you're safe
I don't know.
and think that everything is secure.
When I worked at a coke refinery up in Minnesota, the Flint Hills, no, not Flint Hills. Was it Flint Hills? I can't remember the exact name of the refinery, but I know it was coke. It was along one of the tributaries to the Mississippi River. So, but it was required by law that it not only have security, but have security up to a certain level that had the capacity to use pepper spray, use a baton, and arrest people. I was trained in all that as well as CPR. I used none of it. I had nothing on, except did have on some black BDUs to give the illusion of, oh, hey, a military strength force protecting the gates. But no, they just want us there to make it look secure and to fulfill a necessary role to have that refinery open. They didn't actually care if it was secure or not. They were just going to trust the cops to it, which, okay, fine. If you actually have a threat against an area coming for a coke refinery, a terroristic threat coming for a refinery, sure, the cops are probably going to be a good place to go. But at the same time, once again, ACAB.
No, it's really interesting. When I was in security in the '90s, late '90s, um,
Oh man,
Ugh, ancient.
quiet you. Uh, Security was like, security had some authority. I mean, the mall cops, even back then, were mall cops. They could arrest you, they could handcuff you, they could tase you, they could pepper spray you. Some of them had guns. Some of them, especially in some states, were there was a reason that they were given such a bad rap was because they overreacted, because they didn't have what it took to cut it as actual law enforcement. And this is valid, okay? They couldn't be actual law enforcement, so they ended up as mall cops back in the '90s, because it was the closest thing they could get. And now it seems to me that it has become more of the industry itself has become more of the stereotypical jokes that were made back in the what would it would be the movies in the '90s, the Paul Bart mall cops, all these jokes about how mall cops are really just ineffectual wastes of space. And really, when it comes to security companies, they also secure our hospitals, they do secure our plants and things like that. And there are places where they do take security seriously because it is a matter of safety.
well, and that's the whole
But
thing
the
is that
airport
there
is
needs,
one of them.
yeah, well, that's the whole thing is that if you have a security need, if it's a place where, hey, we need security in order to prevent important structural and infrastructure systems from being damaged and or destroyed, or even just, hey, we need security in an area to keep the general populace safe, you need to train them appropriately. Nuclear plant, oil refinery, because you don't want to know the things on an oil refinery. um,
Oh no, I
Places like
know.
that, have it be at a minimum non-lethally armed. And I'm not talking that bullshit non-lethal where it's rubber bullets. I'm talking the real non-lethal where it's like, hey, worst case, they might have an allergic reaction to the spray in their eyes. But at that point, if you've got somebody who's willing to use that, because it's going to get them too, there's already an issue going on that is big. And it's not going to be as small as, oh, hey, a Karen, because you don't just roll up to an oil refinery and ask to come in. You have to have credentials and all that. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there are lots of places that are the same way, but in order to secure those places, I think that security needs to be effective, and it needs to have the ability to be effectual and actually be able to do something.
well, no,
But
that's what I'm saying.
as you see with what's happening on the airlines, like how are you getting how are you getting
That
past? So is it the fact
that
that
is the perfect understanding of the fact that these airlines, these airports don't actually really care about the TSA being there, or even if they do, I believe the TSA is a role of or a job, a government job. It is not being treated with the same sort of substantialism as you would, even just local police, because it very much gets in the fact that what are you protecting, what are you preventing? Obviously you're protecting air travel, but you're really just protecting businesses, which is why they're going to focus on police officers who you always see around the airport. You wouldn't need to have the police officers right there really if the airport were properly secured, because TSA would be effective at their job. They don't, that many people. You're really not going to need guns and much. All you're going to need is bulletproofing, or at least bullet resistant clothing, proper batons, some spray, maybe some tasers, and handcuffs, and they could handle virtually any threat and simply arrest them on site and have the cops come for them when they are available. Basically, hey, we had some dipshit decide that they wanted to pull a knife and start hurting people. But if you don't have somebody pulling a knife and start hurting people, you don't need it. Because I always fly with weapons. They'll be in my checked luggage, yes, but I'm always going to be flying with a knife because I always want a knife on me wherever I am. I'm a trans woman. I'm not going to let myself go anywhere without a proper blade in order to keep my dumbass safe.
And I
But that
completely
doesn't make me.
understand that. And
Yeah,
that is one of the things is if we're dealing in a world where we're supposed to have this heightened level of security, how is it that we're allowing these companies to just give us an illusion?
because these companies don't care about us actually being secure. It's not about actual security, obviously. Actual security is about protecting people, protecting infrastructure, and really that's about the only two things that actually need protecting, because when you get past that, you're just looking at, oh, the economy. It's not actually the economy you're protecting at that point. It's goods and it's the capital. And you don't need to protect the capital or capitalism. That's the point of cops, is to be the knights of capitalism, like the Pinkertons used to be.
Yes. And there we have and there we have it. I can't spend too much time on this. I know we could do an entire episode on this, but I can't. We actually have more stuff to go on to. We really
This is
do.
why you can't let me
So
on this show, because you know my anti-capitalist ass will bring this shit up every chance I get.
actually,
All the
you've had an
time.
invite to this show for three episodes running. It was the first episode where I didn't invite you for some strange reason. I don't know why. I think because I had everybody else already lined up, but I just didn't want to overload the panel.
Yeah.
And so I was planning on you being here for the second and then the third, and now you're finally here on the fourth. So it took me three episodes to get you here. And so don't say I was trying to keep you out, because believe me, if the other guest that we had was here, you and them would have taken over, and I would not be able to steer this away from
Wait. Who was supposed
anti-capital.
to also be here? Because now I'm just sitting here like I was robbed of the chance to sit here and talk about some good socialist ideologies and opposing the state as well as opposing the police forces.
Reese was supposed to be here tonight. He's not feeling up to it. He will probably be on the next episode. And don't worry, I'm going to put you and Reese on the show together. I'm just going to do it when we don't have a major cryptid battle going on at the end of the show. Um,
And when I'm not
so
wearing lingerie.
I'll
Behave.
probably do it whether you are or not. I don't care.
Oh, Toby, have you
That's
not
on
already seen
Reese.
the pictures?
Hey, behave, behave. Somebody
I
clock
need.
that one. I'm looking at y'all in the comments over there.
I
Make sure we clock
was
this. Let's
trying to be
behave.
good.
Okay. Um, So moving forward, it is the end of 2024. We've had a very hectic year. Um, so I'm gonna pose the question. Okay, every year we always wonder, is this gonna be better or worse? Do you think 2025 can possibly be worse than 2024? Is it possible to get any worse, or do you think we're guaranteed a better year? And granted, we all know what's coming. We're not going to talk about the obvious bad things, but I'm just talking about in general, worldwide. You know, do you think we're just headed downhill? Are we
I
headed to
think that the
hell in a
things
handbasket?
I think that the things that have happened in the US are going to have a major influence on the world, both in conservative politics becoming more normalized and welcomed, considering that the United States has very much always been um, influential across the world. And in addition to that, the hate that we have seen, I don't want to say coming back up. It's always been there, but has become far more prominent over the past, 4 years, 8 years, is only going to get more and more severe worldwide,
Well,
especially
I
as these
really
people feel
hope,
empowered.
yeah, I really hope that that's not going to be the case. I hope for the sake of everyone that that's not the case, but more so for my friends and family, and for all of you guys probably listening right now. I really hope that something um, Eli thinks we're in the Terminator timeline.
I wish it was that nice. I wish it was that nice.
But
Billy
Jackie,
says we're headed for World War III,
Jackie, don't you know
and
we need lower gas prices over people's lives?
I'm sorry, are the gas prices going to lower? Because the only kind reason the gas prices will lower is because there's going to be a lot more hot air.
Yeah.
a lot more hot air. Uh, this is true. Um, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure, on a political standpoint. Um, do you think that weather-wise we're going to see more horrible storms like we did this year?
Well,
I'm pretty sure that what happened to the Appalachian region was very much the ultimatum that this entire world is getting. When the people who go, we don't worry about hurricanes, those never happen, we'll be fine, we don't need infrastructure for it. All we're going to do is just sit back, relax, and nothing's going to happen. Worst case scenario, we get a little bit of a blackout for what, a day, maybe two if things get severe. We faced we the Appalachian region is still being cleaned up. It will be continued to be cleaned up 4 months past now. There were so many dead. Our infrastructure was ravaged. We were devastated in a way that no one in living memory, not even going back to the Civil War or possibly back to the Revolutionary War, no one in the Appalachian region would ever have thought this could happen. But it
No,
did.
we didn't think that could happen. Understand, you're talking to a guy who lived through Hurricane Hugo. Okay, I watched Hurricane Hugo. Hugo went up to the Appalachian region, and it had petered out by the time it got there. We've never seen a storm carry that much water and create that much damage that far inland, particularly in a mountainous region like that. And for it to do that, for it to survive that far, I think says something in itself. Particularly if you lived through and understand Reese can, if Reese was here, he could talk to this too, because he lived through Katrina.
oh,
And
me
there
too.
are storms that once you live through a major hurricane, once you live through something like that and you see the devastation that it can do, because yes, storms hit all the time, they come, they go, they don't cause major devastation, but then you get your once in a lifetime storms. And Helene will forever be uh yeah, it was
Helene will be
definitely the wettest in terms of water,
Yeah, Helene
Eli.
will be burnt into the memory of the region for a very long time. And the thing is, it didn't need to be. If global climate change had not occurred the way it had, Helene would have, okay, fine. It might have come up this way. It would have petered out, or worst case, a day or two. It would not have been, it would not have been a week. A week for me. Just me. Not even talking about my family, my friends, people I care about. Just for me, it was a week without power. It was a week of, if I wanted to get some kind of shower, it was going to be in tap cold, underground cold water just to try to get some amount of the salt off of my body from that shit. It was me wearing the same clothes for a week because I didn't want to potentially get anything nice dirty. It was having to go and fill up my car again and again because that was what I was using to keep my phone charged.
And
It was
it's a nightmare.
hell.
So I actually I was in Katrina as well. I mean, I was like 4, but I was there and I did experience it, and a lot of my family members lost their homes and their livelihoods because of Katrina. And with the way that we are not dealing with climate change at all, it's probably only going to get worse. I mean, I live in Vegas now, and I can't even imagine how hot it's going to get this summer.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing is that Katrina, I hate to say it was, you know, yeah, but Katrina, we kind of it could have expected. I mean, it's New Orleans, it's close to the coast, it's below sea level, and it's a drained out area of wetland. It was not unsurprising for it to happen there, but but the difference is it happening there and it happening that severely.
Yeah.
And that's been the big issue. It's not just the fact that we have storms coming where they aren't supposed to. We've had storms coming where they are not really supposed to, sure. But it's the fact that even where they're supposed to go, they have gotten so severe as to markedly change the entire way that culture and society has moved around them.
Yeah, it's becoming a nightmare scenario, and I think Helene and what happened in the Appalachia is just a prime example of what's going on. And you think that we're in store for more of the same this year? We're going to get more of these nightmare storms, or we're going to get more of these nightmare scenarios.
The only people who would say that we're not going to get more of this are either A, deluding themselves, or B, fucking stupid. And I know which camp it is that has constantly said there's no climate change. And they're fucking stupid. And preferably, if they could do us all a favor, take a 12 gauge out of the closet, put it between their teeth, and suck start.
Whoa. Let's not give that example simply because we are trying to stay PG-13. Behave.
We've been playing PG-13 movies where somebody paints the wall the millennial way.
Video way. Okay, well, I can't argue. I can't argue with the sentiment. But I will say that I'm hoping that 2025. I'm trying to hope that 2025 isn't as horrible, because honestly, this year was really hard. I lost a lot of family these past two holidays. Like, the Christmas episode is dedicated to my brother-in-law and my adopted brother, who both passed. Um, I've lost friends. I've lost, you know, there's a lot that's just like, it's been a rough freaking year for me. And it's been a rough year all the way around, I think, for everybody. So I can't just say, oh, it's just me that's having the rough year. It's been everybody that's having the rough year, not just me. And I want us all to have a better year in 2025. I don't know how to make that happen, but I would like for us all to have a better year in 2025. I'd like for things to be more fun. I mean, we've got a lot happening just for the three of us. Okay, we're all part of this great show that's coming out. It just launched. 2025 could be a banger year for us. Episode 2 launches next Wednesday. Wednesday. We are
4
4
days.
days away from episode 2. Episode 2 of Valmont and the Black Raven Chronicles is going to be out. You
Which
can't.
I'm going to be listening on Eli's live. If anybody wants to, go over there to Eli's channel, be ready, because I'll hop into his live box and listen with him. I'll probably be a little bit out of it because I'm hoping to be at a bar that night, or the night of the 31st, celebrating with some friends as we bring in the new year.
Well, I don't think we're doing the live till the night of the 1st.
Well, I
Because
know, but that's what I'm saying. Day afterward. Come on now, the day after New Year's Eve is
yeah, the
always
day after you may need a little help. Unfortunately, I'll be working, so I'm making time and a half both those
I'm
days.
sure I'll
So
be able to find somebody
Me
who's
too.
got yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to find somebody with a pretty throat to bite into. I'll be fine.
I'm glad you'll be fine. Um,
Holidays are a bitch and a half in the pizza industry that I'm in. Everyone's ordering
well,
pizza.
in security, it's going to be so much more fun because there's going to probably be absolutely nothing going on. It's New Year's Eve. Um, I'm going to be sitting around, driving a truck all night, wishing I was getting drunk with everybody else. Hopefully, this will be the last year that I'm doing that, considering everything. But we'll find out. Like I said, that's my hope. My hope for 2025 is that I start doing this full time, and uh, then I don't have to drive a truck at night anymore. You know, and you guys can help with that. You can help with that by supporting the show and going to patreon.com/, the Carolina Storyteller. Join up and you could support this show, the Carolina Storyteller, and Valmont. So what are you waiting for? Get over there, help out. We need the money. Um,
Please do,
Eli says
because
he's off on the 1st, so he is planning a listening party. We haven't planned a time yet, but there will be a listening party January 1st. for episode 2 of Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles. It is happening. Eli's planning it.
Oh,
So
Eli, you're
on
not allowed to
TikTok,
get off until I say so.
behave. Someone clock that one, Billy, please. We need to
I
figure out
am
how
being
many times
brave.
it's said every time it's said during this episode.
But
She's
dear,
I need
I
to
am.
know,
not
Billy.
being as explicit as usual.
But
This is true. This
Don, here's the
is
thing. I
minor but
am
very.
being brave. I behaving myself a good time.
She's trying to get her show canceled.
35.07. All right, so I think this is the third one, so we're on 3 now. I want to know how many, but see, Billy's clocking the time, so we could look for him in the comments. 35 minutes and 7 seconds. Well, as you know, the first 3 episodes, we did the South Carolina Cryptid Championships. We went to find who was the strongest cryptid in the state of South Carolina, and I did it. I actually figured out who the strongest cryptid in the state of South Carolina was. No, it is not you. Unfortunately, it is actually the Lizard Man. The Lizard Man won the championship.
I still
Um,
think Eli was biased.
How is he the winner? He's a two-pump chump.
the Lizard Man won on the account that it took out the knot deer. You weren't in the running this year. You may be in the running next year, though. So you can campaign for it starting now, and you can go in the running for next year's Cryptid Championship. But because the Lizard Man is the South Carolina official 24 South Carolina official cryptid, next year, the 2025, we're doing a national. We're doing a national. That's right. We're going nationwide. And here it is coming to the stage. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the cryptid. I'm going to call it the National Cryptid Championship. Here is the lineup. I'm going to try and get over here so I can zoom into this a little bit
Let me
and let you
zoom
take a
in.
look.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We have coming up. First up, we will have the bout of Alabama versus Maine, Alaska versus Massachusetts. Wyoming is moving into a wild card spot. California, Minnesota, Connecticut, Montana. If we slide over here a little bit, you're going to see Arizona versus Maryland. Fights like Colorado versus
Did you
Missouri.
really misspell Maryland?
I may have. I don't know. You know, the big one that I'm looking forward to is right here, the Kentucky, Oklahoma. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of these matchups on the cryptids here, but you just take a minute and take a look at that if you want to. But we have the Kentucky, Oklahoma is going to be the Little Green Men versus the Oklahoma Octopus. The Oklahoma Octopus. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Florida versus Nevada is going to be interesting because it's the Skunk Cape versus Tahoe Tessie.
I've never heard of Tahoe Tessie.
It's basically the
Uh,
Loch Ness Monster.
Ah,
But
Louisiana
also,
versus Oregon. Rougarou versus Colossal Claude.
ooh, the Ruga and baby some. Mm.
hmm And the other one, okay, the Beast of Battenboro. Hey,
Yes,
where'd you go?
I stood up.
Nobody told you could do that.
Oh dear.
Okay, so
You might
guys, you opened the bag. You opened the bag. Stop.
my dear,
behave,
you might be the director, but I run the show.
I forgot. Sorry, behave. No,
You need to
the
behave.
one that I'm actually really interested in. Do you know about the Beast of Batterboro? Because you're up next to the Appalachia. So do you know about this one?
I can't say I do. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm not sure. I've got to look into it. But the Beast of Batterboro from North Carolina is going to be facing the Infield Horror from Illinois.
Ooh.
I feel like that's very interesting. And the reason I feel like that's very interesting is because today, as a kind of a uh, um, scrimmage match, We're going to put the infield horror up against the South Carolina champion, the Lizard Man. That's right, Illinois' infield horror. So let me show you this real quick. You guys need to look at this guy. The infield horror is the infield monster is what it's called, and trying to find a picture of him is going to be a problem. But here we go. Yeah, so this is infield monster here.
Jackie, I don't think you compare.
So if you guys can see this here, this is the infield monster. He is definitely a creepy cryptid from Illinois. Now, apparently, he showed up in the 70s, and he was shot at and just kept going. He has 3 legs, 2 tiny little arms, the big gaping mouth, but he hasn't really caused any damage or anything, so we don't know anything about his combat stats. But just looking at him in sheer size, I've got to figure he's got to be up to the challenge, right, guys? What do you think?
Either I went on a date with him or someone just as ugly.
Jackie, we've really got to talk about your taste in men.
You have really low standards.
Well, of course I have low standards. Look at the 2 men who I'm crushing on.
I don't know who you're crushing on.
I don't even know who you're crushing on. And I thought I was cool.
Oh, darling.
Anyway, the infield monster was reported in April of 73 by a guy named Henry McDaniel, who heard a scratching sound at his front door. And when he went outside with a gun and a flashlight, he saw this creature with big pink eyes that were bright as flashlights staring at him. It stands 4.5 feet tall, grayish in color, with a deformed human-like body, they say. But everything about this creature, as much as people say about it, it's never apparently caused any pain or hurt anybody. It's just a big monster.
It's not
and
big.
Of course,
it's 4.5 feet.
It's 4.5 foot tall monster. So
oh no, that's the perfect size to put against a wall and make him call me mommy.
Whoa.
You know what? That explains why you dated him. He was a short king. I get it. You have a thing for short kings. We understand.
I will say he's only
3 by
like
35,
6 inches.
19. It's a 4th one by now, I believe.
He's only like a half a foot shorter than me, so.
Well, then by the time I was done with him, he would have been as tall as you because I gave him 6 inches. I will do that later. I'm currently working.
Oh, there's that. That's a clip that we're putting in for the YouTube later. Anyway, this short king, the infield horror, we're putting him against the South Carolina champion, the Lizard Man. Now, if you don't know about the Lizard Man, but I'm sure that all of you do, but we're going to talk about him again. The Lizard Man appeared first in 1986 in Bowman, South Carolina, a place called Skateboard Swamps, where he emerged from the swamp and attacked the young man's car, leaving scratch marks and dents and all kinds of stuff. He was seen a month later attacking a couple in their car. He was seen a year later where he was supposedly shot and they turned up with scales and blood. And then he was seen again in 1991. He was actually seen in 2015. He was seen in 2018. He hasn't really been seen since, but the Lizard Man is apparently still out there running around, tearing up cars and terrorizing the area of Skateboard Swamp. And this is why he won the South Carolina championship. But is the South Carolina champ lizard enough to take on the beast from the Middle East? Well, not the Middle East, but the Middle West. I don't know. The beast from Illinois, the infield horror. We're going to have to do it 3 ways. I am, of course, going to go for the Lizard Man in this. I think the Lizard Man has got this. I mean, yeah, it's a short king, but I don't think he can take the Lizard Man. He doesn't have, I'm not seeing anything that says he's got an offensive capability. Toby,
I still believe that I still believe the lizard man beat out the no deer because Eli has a big fat boner for him. Um, as far as
Ow,
him,
Eli.
he can't defend himself because I don't read.
He's in the
Um,
chat.
I don't read.
That's okay. I can throw the chat comments up when he comments, but go ahead. Continue.
As far as the Enfield monster, I, we don't have much information on him as far as it goes. So between the two of them, the lizard man is far more violent and known for that sort of thing, and Enfield monster is kind of there. So out of the two of them, I'd go with lizard man.
Well, notice the infield monster has survived being shot twice. Eli is taking the paraphrasing as a compliment, just so you know. So he's taking that you think he has a boner for the lizard man as a compliment. Eli, more power to you. But no, the Enfield has been seen just as many times, but he's never been violent. He's always running away. He's survived being shot, though. There was actually a hunting party that went out and said they were trying to shoot at him. They didn't get him. So, you're absolutely right. We have no offensive capabilities of this creature. Now, Jackie, you represent Bowman Skateboard that's up next to your area. Are you going to back the Lizard Man? Or are you going to go for the inbuilt horror?
Having, from what I've seen, I'm going to go with the lizard man just because angry, impotent men always tend to be a lot more violent and a lot more dangerous.
So you believe the lizard man is impotent?
To pump chump.
Wow. The lizard man has been called out, and if he is listening, if the lizard man is actually paying attention, you've been called out by the vampire queen. You know where to go and what to do, and this is going to be a sad day for the lizard man, or it could be a happy day for the lizard man. I don't know. But the lizard man does take this battle, and these are the kind of battles that we're going to be having every episode for the foreseeable future. We're going to be doing for the next year, every episode, we're going to be having one of these battles where we're going to take one of the cryptids from this extremely long list of cryptids. Let's just take a look at the list real quick, because we have some amazing cryptids on here. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet. Have you guys seen the names of the cryptids that are going to be in this? Alabama's White Thing, Alaska's Tizherkuk, Arizona has the Mongolian Monster, the Folk Monster, Tahoe Tessie from California. I've never even heard of Tahoe Tessie.
Tahoe Tessie is ours, actually. That's Nevada. It's in Lake Tahoe.
Well, see, that's what's interesting is Tahoe Tessie is Nevada's and California's. Now, because it's both states, Tahoe Tessie is going to get to go twice. Tahoe Tessie has a double chance of winning.
Or
and
to put in
I
Area
think it's
51, like I suggested.
But that's not
Area
a cryptid. That is an entire location.
It's not. Area 51 does not count.
Entity.
Now, Jackie, this one right here, I need to know. I know you see it right there. It's highlighted. It's from Rhode Island. Are you related?
I don't think so. None of my family comes from Rhode Island. We're all from the South.
Well, the vampire Mercy Brown is Rhode Island's cryptid. And the thing is I believe that her story was done in the Carolina Storyteller. So they have a vampire that's sticking in. So that's going to be a very interesting one.
I mean, that was part of the whole New England vampire panic. Very little of that was actually vampires. Most just tuberculosis and scared. Well, I mean, let's be honest here, scared Christians.
Yeah.
So you're claiming that Mercy Brown is a fake vampire and therefore does not stand a chance in this cryptid battle.
Darling, you know a real vampire. we don't wind up getting exhumed from the ground, not without throwing at least one or two fists.
This is true. So there we have it. Okay, so Rhode Island, you're probably not going to make it through round one. Sorry for your luck. Actually, I believe Rhode Island
Jackie's biased.
I believe Rhode
Oh,
Island.
Jackie's biased.
up
Jackie's
the
busy
bracket.
thinking about coming to Las Vegas in April in order to bite down on some cute kitty boy.
Mm.
Ooh, that was such a cute noise.
Shut up.
You know, I'm honestly trying to decide whether I should throw a behave in there or not. Chat, give me a vote. Could there be a behave thrown in there for that one? I don't think there should be one thrown at Jackie. I'm wondering if I should throw one at Toby. I need you guys to give me a vote very quickly. Billy or
Jackie,
Eli.
did you see my choker? I added my choker.
Yes, I did see your choker. She's right here.
No, look. There's a real one, too.
Oh, I know. And I'll be
Okay.
to put my fingers in and pull you by the chain.
See, now that's a behave.
Yeah, that's a behave right there. We still have the rest of the show to do. You guys can have your private
Hey, I was asking
and
if
very
she liked my
explicit
choker.
chat later.
I do like your choker.
Hey,
She
no.
looks so good in the mirror.
Billy gave you a behave. So Toby, you got to behave.
Hey,
And Jackie,
I've been far better behaved than Jackie.
I didn't say you weren't. I'm just saying you earned yourself a behave. Eli is breaking out the newspaper.
So the behaves. Is this like a
The time is
spanking
now at
thing
50.
or like a?
Like we got through an hour with five behaves. 5 behaves in 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no, it's
We
definitely
still
going to be a
have
spanking thing. Let me get the belt.
behave.
Okay.
That's 6. Now,
I really think you needed to add like a horny buffer in here, Jonathan.
I've got to do something. I mean, the problem is that I didn't have the buffer in here today. This is what happens when my buffer guests don't show up, and I get stuck with. I get
Oh,
stuck with
I'm
the
sorry,
cryptids.
Daddy. I'll be much better behaved next time. I promise.
Oh, I'll give you
7?
that one. No, that doesn't get a 7. That was actually very good. I'm not giving that a behave. That's a good behavior. I like that. So,
She called you daddy.
Who just called me daddy? What? Okay. I got to focus on a show to do here, people. Okay. So we are working we're working towards this weekend. The Carolina Storyteller is going to return with all kinds of new stories. In fact, because so many of these cryptids have never been on the show, I got to tell stories about all these cryptids. I gave myself a whole bunch of work. And so you never know what cryptids we're going to be having on the show or what shows we're going to be having. Plus, the Carolina Storyteller is going to kind of take on a new format. We're going to be inviting people to tell their stories with my stories. So I'll be having guests who tell their story before I tell my story because I just love telling stories. You know how it is. And I love hearing stories. So the Carolina Storyteller is going to be coming back this weekend. Jackie's going to be doing an appearance. Jackie's actually got some episodes ready for me, right? You're going to send to me so I can slap them up because they haven't made air yet? Or did you lose all
All right, I
those?
still have some of that stuff sitting in my computer unfinished, don't I? Including some interviews.
Yes, those probably need to get done and get thrown on the Patreon.
I mean, or you could just throw me around.
7.
I didn't say how you
That's
could throw
7.
me around or what for. You can't even call me on that one.
Jeez. All right, fine. You won't get called on that one.
She's found loopholes.
She found the loophole. Jackie
Hey,
found the
what can I
loophole
say?
in the
I'm always good
behave.
at finding holes.
That's a behave. That's a behave. That is a behave. Mark that down, Billy. I know you're keeping the tracker over there. That's got to be 7 right there, or at least 8.
I'm surprised it's not
We're
more.
going for we're going for a record on the show. Honestly, it's less than what we get during a table read of equal length. So it's probably half of what we get during a table read.
She threatens my holes a lot.
Eli says 2 steps forward, 1 steps back. Before we fall into madness, Yes, Carolina Storyteller will be returning. Valmont is dropping on the 1st. So, we've got a lot coming for you guys. Um, and then in 2 weeks, we're going to be starting the National Cryptid Championship. There's no telling who's going to be here with us. So, before we go, have you guys got any last words on today's topics? Anything to say? We're going into the new year. You got any wishes for the new year? Something to give me? Toby, you can go first.
I wish for episode 7 to come out earlier than normal so that you guys can see my premiere as Azriel. Azriel.
That's not an episode 7, is that?
It is episode 7.
Azrael appears in episode 7.
I'll need to reread through the script.
Azrael has an appearance which they meet with Gabriel in episode 7.
My premiere.
Someone is so proud of themselves.
And
I haven't even recorded
Jackie,
for it yet.
what have you got to say to the fans and listeners and everybody else?
Behave. Preemptive.
You can't preemptive behave her. Okay, she has to have the ability to make the mistake so that we can behave. You cannot do it preemptively.
Especially because that just incentivizes me to want to act out.
This is true. And
but
you
no,
would know that if you would.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you would know this, if you had tried to preemptively behave her before, as I have.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Anyway, oh right, we also have to teach him about girl language. But
I'll teach him about the girls, don't worry.
Good. So obviously TikTok ban is coming, so everybody please look for us in other places so that you can keep up with our content. While the TikTok ban most likely isn't going to actually stop TikTok from working, it's most likely that if you will not already have it installed, you will not be able to install it. And even otherwise, the app on our phone should still allow for the creation of videos. So worst case scenario, we can just create videos and then upload them elsewhere. So please follow us as many places as you can. Keep up with our content. Especially my other boss, the one who pays me, Sia Melange. Hey,
yeah, let's just point out the fact that I can't afford to pay you.
Well, I have been trying to get Spencer's to be willing to pay us, considering I'm constantly wearing lingerie, have so much body jewelry, I'm constantly just being over the top flirtatious and horny. I mean, it'd be perfect. Spencer's could definitely sponsor us and make some absolute.
Are you going to the Spencer's store or Spencer's corporate?
Yes. And yes, this is
Spencer's.
The
entire ensemble is from Spencer's, is what you're telling me.
No, the entire ensemble is actually. This is mostly just TikTok shop, actually.
Okay. I got this at Hot Topic. This on Amazon.
Anyway,
let me just point out. I got the boo hat going. Got the boo hat. I got the rings. I got the chains.
I also got the rings.
But no, we can try to talk to Spencer's about doing that. Just use me as their model, because let's be honest here, I look damn good.
Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles is brought to you by Spencer's. Get your weed stuff, get your posters for your rock bands, and if you go in the back, you can get some of those adult toys. Spencer's, everything for the family.
I mean,
Jackie, do you want to be sponsored by just the toy section or all of it?
Let's do all of it. I don't tend to do gummies, but I'm willing to do it again a couple times just to
Personally, I want to be sponsored by the novelty items. Like all the novelty, all the fun, joke items and things like that. That's the sponsors that I want to sponsor me. The rest of the show can be sponsored by different parts, but for my part, we'll just.
I mean, considering I look like a rock star, if we could get sponsorship from the band tees and all the fucking rock star stuff from Spencer's, we'd be good.
I think that's what we're going to go for. And we will be getting sponsors soon. We are, if you are watching and you are looking to get your advertisement on the show. You see the banners that are popping up. We will be adding ads in to help pay the bills and things like that. So you could sponsor this show as well as the Carolina Storyteller and Valmont. Sponsorships are going to be starting in 2025.
And you
You
could
know,
definitely get voice.
Banner ads are only $10. And believe it or not, I have a plethora of voice actors that will read the ads for you. Like,
And
I'm
especially in such
pimping these
silky
fools
and warm
out.
voices. I mean,
Eli
that's the
says
thing.
he'd look dope on a t-shirt.
We really would, but yeah, no, we could do it in our, wonderful silky voices. Just make everybody want to get your product.
It's possible. Anyway, that's time for our show. We've kind of gone over by about 30 seconds. So if you've been watching and you're like, when is this thing going to end? It's ending right now for Toby and Jackie and the cast of Valmont and the Carolina Storyteller. I am Jonathan Phoenix. Thank you guys for coming to the show, and we will see you next time.
And remember, everybody, don't let
behave.
the vampires bite.
You know what? That's it. No.